Well, good morning, everybody. This is Lynn Gardner. Welcome to Team Excellence Call. Had a little bit of a glitch trying to get back on the call, so I'm so glad to be with you all today. And I was just commenting on how it almost feels like reunion week. Every week, I hear voices that I really feel like I've gotten to know you. A lot of you I have met, and some of you I haven't met. So thanks for being on and being such faithful servants here. It's a beautiful day in Virginia. It's kind of crazy. It's here we are in February, and we've had weird weather just like the rest of the world, but it's going to be 68 degrees today, so ask me if I'm happy. It's going to be beautiful and sunny, and I'm just so happy, to get a little change up here. I'm excited because later on this week or this weekend, I'll be heading south to the Deep South to the Cajun Conference in Louisiana. I can't wait to go to NOLA. It's been a long time since I've been down there. We are so excited, and I'm so honored, to be able to share the stage with people I consider to be my heroes. I can't wait, right? It's going to be an amazing event. There's a True Health Workshop on Friday, the 23rd, Super Saturday on Saturday, the 24th, and it's not too late. So if you haven't gotten that word out to your team, if it's something that you want to consider, you can still get in the game. You guys have heard from me, so I like to take road trips, right? I love to travel, the roads less traveled, and the older I get, the more time I have with not raising a family, I kind of take my time. I want to see some sights along the way. So I'm actually driving to NOLA. It's about 1,000 miles from me, and I'm sure I'm going to have a few stories to tell, and maybe even one of these calls that that was motivated by something on the trip. Driving's never an issue for me. Spring is just around the corner, and when we get close to spring, it's a big time for recruiting in real estate. You may not be aware of that, but, after we get through that just big push from winter, the brokers start trying to build that team. They want to get people on board, hopefully licensed before the hot market hits, right? Because they know that most people get a real estate license, they have something in their pocket. Most people say, well, I go ahead and get a license because we're going to buy a home, or I'm going to go ahead and get a license because my mom's going to sell her home, or whatever, right? They know that broker knows we need to get some new people in here, and they're going to bring some business in here right at the biggest time of year, right? So lots of people move in the summertime, as you probably already know. If you plan to move, you probably wanted to move in the summer, so you didn't disrupt the whole school system for your kids, and that's the time so that the brokers are all working toward. But as I was driving around town just a couple of days ago, I noticed a few signs out in front of the real estate offices, and one of them said, real estate licensing, $100. Boy, you look at that and think, wow, I could be a real estate agent, going to cost me $100. And I laugh at that because there's no way you're going to get into real estate for $100. You may take the class for $100, but then it's going to, cost you, probably in the neighborhood of $5,000 for you to really get going. You'll have that $100 class at 60 hours of classroom, then you have an application fee to take the test, and you got to buy the license once you pass the test, and then you have to join the MLS, and you have to get a lockbox key, and you have to join the local and the national associations. You have to, in some states, get insurance. You have to get business cards and signs for the yard and signs for your card. Believe me, you're going to spend a whole lot more than that $100, but it's the $100 and the dream of getting into real estate for $100 that drives so many people in. But you know what? Reality is that starting a business of any kind for $5,000 or less is a very sweet deal. As I was considering our business, it occurred to me that most people talk about trying to recruit, people that are building the business. That's what they talk about a lot. But there are lots of people that are, having trouble, and don't have really a clue of how to frame that. Now, it's an easy thing if you're someone experienced with network marketing and you're talking to other network marketers. That's a no-brainer. I mean, they know how the system works, right? So you just have to share the product, share the comp plan kind of thing. But there are a whole lot of people that we want to address, and if we don't know how to speak their language and what appeals to them, we really don't have a chance at all, right? We kind of diminish the opportunity. So the message entitled today is The Language of Home-Based Business. Why aren't we presenting that business? Some of us, again, don't know how. Some of us don't, our fear gets in the way. We don't feel like talking to successful people. We feel like, well, I just got this little home-based business and they're very successful. But that's not the way the business world works. When we embark on a business like ours, it's so important to get a handle on how to talk to business people instead of being so product-driven. Now, that is not taken away from our product, believe me. But when you're talking to business-minded people, you might have somebody that says, well, I want to open a McDonald's. They never never eat the hamburgers. Somebody that wants to open a Starbucks, they don't drink coffee. It really doesn't matter. They see the opportunity more than anything else. So again, approaching network marketers or people that already understand our world, that's a no-brainer. But I want to talk to you a little bit about how we can frame business so that it's more appealing maybe to business people. The phrase home-based business, first of all, often comes off, with some preconceived notions. It kind of sounds like people have some hobby that they do and they hope to make a few bucks selling something they make or, some kind of service that they offer. It really, people have some preconceived notions. But home-based business to a business person really means that you don't have a huge investment for brick and mortar. You don't have the overhead that so many businesses have. You're able to, work wherever you want. It's flexible. It's a mobile business pretty much, but it's based at home. So that's the first thing that we need to do is be sure that we frame it as a true business. I was reading, a survey, some data from a survey on home-based businesses, and they said that, one of the most popular ways that these days to start a business is through home-based business opportunities. They said that home-based business opportunities are everywhere. We know that, right? But I was astonished to hear that there are 38 million home-based businesses in the U.S. today. 38 million. I mean, that's more than 10% of the population. It's crazy, right? So that means that there's a very good opportunity for a lot of people to consider a home-based business, a side business, or front-run business for themselves. Home-based businesses actually make great money. Again, we have that preconceived notion of, it's kind of a hobby thing, makes a few bucks, maybe something a housewife might do, but that's not the way it is at all. Home-based businesses are generating amazing dollars with total annual revenue of $427 billion per year. And you know what? 20% of those home-based businesses make between $100 and $500 a year. The fact that it's home-based should not be framed as if it's not something, a big deal, as if it's kind of a secondary business or a hobby-type income. There's a lot of money to be had in our business, and our business is home-based, which is a very good thing, right? This survey went on to say that 70% of home-based businesses are successful within 3 years of founding them, compared to the rest of the world, guys, which is, by the way, 30% of regular businesses, right? So 70% of the time when somebody launches into a home-based business like ours, they're going to see that success within 3 years of founding it. And that's, by the way, assuming that they're starting something fresh. We have a turnkey opportunity. We have the products in place, the reputation in place, the system in place, the money in place. We've got everything we need. So your chance of success is far greater than even 70% as compared to the rest of the world, being 30% of the time. Home-based businesses are affordable to start. Now, you may have struggled. Most of us did, right? When we're looking at just technology, even though it's life-changing technology, we kind of, burp a little bit when we look at it's going to be $4,000 or $5,000, right? That's one of the things that we have to work so hard for, that paradigm shift, if you will, in people to get them to understand not only the importance of health, but also understand you're already spending the money. That we're just asking you to redirect that spending and do it once and for all, right? And so, when you look at the technology, you might be struggling a little bit, trying to work value into the price. But when you're talking to somebody about getting into a business, $5,000 is nothing, right? 44% of home-based businesses are started for less than $5,000. That's an optimistic sign that we should be looking at. But if we're just talking to maybe network marketers and they're used to selling some kind of consumable product, buy this auto ship for $25 a month and get 100 million people and you'll make a lot of money, right? They may not be looking at this $5,000 or $4,000, whatever it is, investment the same way. But when you're talking to business people, if you say, have you ever thought about having your own business, and you talk to them about a $5,000 investment, and you talk about it being financeable, you're going to get a lot of attention that you may not be getting today. This survey went on to say that 70% of Americans, that they polled, would prefer to be self-employed, and a new home-based business is started. Are you ready for this? Every 12 seconds. Think about that. Every 12 seconds, somebody's starting a home-based business, and we have, as we know, the best that we could possibly have. I was thinking about real estate, and sometimes people say, what are you doing? You were such a big player in real estate, and the market's, got a little life to it these days. And I had a unique niche being a real estate auctioneer. But, what comes with that And although I had a lot more freedom in my life than a traditional real estate agent would, I kind of dictated my schedule. This is the day it's going to auction, I'll show up, right? But what you may not think about is that in addition to all the expense, there is a tremendous amount of liability. You have to be so careful. One little glitch, and when you see the market get rough and people start getting a little testy, you see lawsuits on every corner. You have a lot of liability when you're in a business like real estate. But you know what? What liability do we have? The biggest things we have to worry about is don't make medical claims and don't make financial claims. Follow the rules, right? But everything else is in place. We don't make the product. We don't ship the product. We don't service the product. That is a business person's dream, to think that they could get into business not only without the liability, but without the hassle. Talking to my own gender here, women start more home-based businesses than men. 72% of women who own startups actually operate their startups out of their home, compared to only 61% of the men who do the same thing. Men have a tendency to be that more logical mind, and if you polled most men, they'd probably say, well, you need an office. They think you need those things. They couldn't comprehend doing that. And 68% of the women business owners are still running their business from home on the average of 3.5 years after they start. Well, we know, again, because we don't hold product, we don't ship product, we don't ever have that clutter in our lives, we never have to go off and take on the brick and mortar. Again, a dream to a person looking to start a business. So, if anybody looking for a business, this is a great strategy. And they need to look at all the benefits of being able to work it, on their own. Another thing to think about when you think about a business owner, a lot of times we look out and say, I need a builder, and you want those people full time, right? You want them to give 24/7. But in reality, the business-minded, investment-minded person probably is never going to do that. They're looking at this as another stream of income. Now, we might get their attention, they might throw everything into it, but there are a lot of people who look for business, that you look for opportunities to make money, and we may never get their attention full time. But you know what? The business-minded person is usually going to push a lot harder than the average person. And so what they do part-time or quarter-time or whatever it is probably going to exceed what you've seen from a lot of people that you brought on just starting your business, or the foundation of your business, just talking about water. It's also interesting, as I was preparing for this, I was looking at, they had a list of, Entrepreneur Magazine had a list of the 15 most profitable small business in 2016. Now, most people you talk to aren't going to look at, profit and loss and that sort of thing, but I thought it was interesting that you really should think about this as you're talking to people in other lines of work. What kind of profits do they see? Well, the number one profit business out there these days is accounting, tax prep, bookkeeping, payroll services. Now, although a lot of people might do that from home, there are, and certainly my person does, but, a lot of people take on the overhead, and the average net profit of a business like that is 18.4%. You think about how hard they work. You talk about the liability. Tax season, they have no life. It's a very, stressful kind of environment for many, many people to see 18.4% net profit. And that's if they do a really good job and they live it lean and mean. Another one would be like management of companies, or enterprises. The average net profit on that is 15.5%. You talk about a lot of headaches. Real estate agents, perhaps you've had this thought if you've never been in real estate, and you might look at these brokers and say, oh my gosh, they're making all this money and I had to pay all this in commission. These people are, getting rich. But the average real estate broker company, their net profit is 15%. That's not a whole lot to go to the bank with. You better do a lot of volume and recruit those agents in, right? The point I'm trying to make with you is a lot of these people, when they see a compensation or an opportunity, an investment opportunity, a business like ours, the margins are huge for them. And you know what? You don't necessarily need to understand all that, but you need to be talking to that. I was thinking about it, it's not a perfect world with perfect math, and it doesn't work exactly the same way. But, if you think about somebody saying, well, I'm going to buy an SD501, and that's the launch of their business, Let's just talk simple things for me right now. So we know that it's, $39.80, we buy the SD501, and we know that the first one we sell, we get $285. Well, you know what? That's 7% return on what they put into it already. So instead of just looking at it as an ionizer, we need to be looking at it more as a business. You want to get in business? This is what it's going to cost you. The good news is what they buy into the business with, they get to use forever, don't they? Or pretty much forever. So these people, including the next one would be a dentist, they have 14%. The dental world is the highest suicide rate on the planet. I don't even want to think about why, but they only end up with, 14% profit. These are things that are astounding numbers if you've never stopped to think about them. How physician's office, they're looking at, we think all these doctors are all rich. They're not all rich. They have the liability, they have the insurance, they have the overhead, and they end up these days with an average of 13% profit. What I'm trying to drive home to you is that there are so many people out there looking for opportunities. Business people are always looking for another stream of income, true business people. We have a tendency, again, to just kind of stop with that network marketing mode, and thank God these people are out there, right? That's really what launched so many large organizations in our business. But we are overlooking a lot of people of one home-based business every 12 seconds starting, and 10% of our country already has one. We could go on and on and on in terms of what how people will look at this. But we also know one thing that, for people that have never been in business for, one of the big things we overlook is the tax benefit. If you've always been a payroll person, I've had people say, you're a thief. And I have to go get, IRS codes, and we have that good tax guide, in our business, because people don't understand how powerful it is to have a business so that you can actually take advantages of all the tax benefits. There's a book out there I saw also as I was doing a little research for this that, it's actually 55 business ideas that you can start for under $5,000. This is a book, 55 ideas, and it's everything from start a cleaning company, start a dog walking business. Oh, my goodness. I have a friend who was an executive with Network Solutions, and she got cut. It's been a long time. When she got cut, she was really having a time getting back in the game, and she loves pets. And so she decided, friends would say, hey, we're going on vacation. Would you dog sit? Would you cat sit? Whatever, right? And she built a very nice business. In fact, she says today she makes more, than she made in that world. I've tried so hard to get her attention for our business, right? But that woman has no life. She is so entrenched in this home-based business where she's doing all the work. She can never leverage herself. She's got all the liability. It doesn't matter if it's sleeting, rain, if it's 200 degrees outside. She's out there working, and her day is about 14 hours long. So, guys, there are a lot of people out there that not only want a home-based business, maybe they need one. She was in a position where she needed one. She could not get back in the industry at the same pay, and she scrambled around to create something. There are more people out there than we can shake a stick at. But unless we learn the language of business, to start talking to these people a little bit about business and a little less for people that haven't been in our industry about, network marketing, multi-level, whatever those words are, upline, downline, whatever the real indicators are for our business. Start looking at them and use the language of business when you're talking to business people. And you know what? It will be much, much easier for you to consider trying to recruit people above. In other words, people more successful than you. Comes a little easy when you can reframe that in your own mind to be able to talk to them about another stream of income. We have a great company, great product, solid as a rock. We're not going anywhere. And if there's a home-based business starting up every 12 seconds, we better get on with it, right? So I hope this little thread of talking about the language of business and how you might just change just a few things about the way you look at who you need to be looking for and about the way you present what we have when you find them. So I hope you guys ponder that the rest of this beautiful day. I'll see you guys at the top. I hope I see you in Louisiana in just a week. I'm so looking forward to that, and I hope you'll be joining us. God bless you all. I'll see you at the top. Bye-bye.